Guys, we're going to be going live on Facebook as well, so let me just get set up here. We are not the content creators yet on YouTube. However, we are getting all our stuff together because why not give more people access to what we do? So I'm going to give this a little title here, Discipline Yourself. It's a new keyboard, or life will... Is that what it was called? Well, whatever it was. Okay. So we're going to do this. That's my title, right? Title, copy, paste. Boom. We're live there. Check in here. Boom. All right. So this is going to stay right here. We'll go live. Snooze that for 2 hours. There you go, guys. All right, we're live. So we are live on YouTube, and we are live on Facebook. So we're going to start here, and we're going to talk about a couple of things that we've talked about before. Typically, I'd like to have Melissa with us, but she's busy cleaning Kira's room. You guys can identify with the fact that things are a little different now that we're all home. So this is Captain's Log, star date, whatever. I don't even know this stuff, but this is day whatever of quarantine, right? So we are all home. Our businesses are closed down. We are conducting business from our home. So the cool thing here is you're going to find that this is going to be indicative of the time. So this look, everybody working out at home, everybody conducting business from home, it's going to be like very nostalgic. When you see one of these videos, you'll know immediately what time period it's from, that it's from the early 2020s, right? So when our grandkids are watching these videos, if they still survive for them, that's what we'll find, and that's what they'll know. So being that it's here and it's all new for us, everybody's working from home, working out from home. We're bringing a little bit of style, a little bit of panache, a little bit of inspiration, and a whole lot of perspiration, right? Because we're going to work out hard, and we're going to help you guys stay in shape and be in good health. Because at the end of the day, what else do you have, right? Here's an interesting thing. If you talk to anybody, I don't care who it is, somebody that has a ton of money, somebody that has no money, somebody that's lived a lot in life, somebody that hasn't done a whole lot in life, ask any of them at the end of their life when they know that they're on their way out. They would all say the same thing. What do you wish you had more of? And they would always say more time, right? Right now, guys, you got all the time in the world. All the time in the world, right? What's up, Rob? I got Rob and Mark here, my buddies. Yeah, right? You guys got all the time in the world. So if you're squandering your time worrying about things and you're going out and you're not disciplined, right? When we're at work and we have a schedule, we're disciplined. We're very, very disciplined. For the folks who worked from home the whole time, they've had to discipline themselves, right? They've had to discipline themselves or you'll never get any work done. So why is it now that these things have changed? Is it because, our kids are home with us? Is it because our spouses are home with us? But we're not disciplined anymore, right? We lose that discipline. Well, what kind of discipline are we talking about? I don't know. Maybe we take a little extra time, checking out Facebook, right? I think everybody's on Facebook. Maybe we take a little extra time. We sleep in. Well, we used to get up at 5:30. Now we're getting up at 6:37. So we're losing an hour and a half there. But what are you doing with your time, right? What are you doing? What's the quality? So there's two things you got to do. You got to discipline yourself with your time, and you got to discipline yourself with your activity, right? So let's say you discipline yourself with your time, right? And you're not doing the activities you're supposed to do. Are you doing the right work? Maybe, maybe not. Hey, Stu. So the discipline runs all around. This is the most important time, and this is the one time when you guys could really take control of your health. Now, why is that important? You're stressed out. You're at home. You're doing, we're doing dumb things, right? Yeah, right, Rob. We're all in the same boat. We're doing dumb things like going into the kitchen and opening the fridge and saying, "Hey, what's in here? Let's see. Maybe I'll have some of that." And no, let's see what's in the freezer. So we're doing things like this when we really should be taking care of our health the most. Because if we're not healthy, we're not sleeping. If we're not sleeping, we don't feel good. We're not productive. We're not being the best employee we could be. We're not being the best business owner we could be. We're not being the best dad or the best mom we could be, right? So if we're not getting sleep and we're not eating correctly and we're not doing our exercise and we're stressed out to the gills, we're just not going to be functioning. We're not going to be performing, not even at our optimal. We're not going to be performing well at all. Cranky, irritable, forgetting things, not being productive with work, and who needs that? So the theme for today's was you got to discipline yourself or life will discipline you. It's just the way it goes, right? So anytime we're in these groups, you guys could go ahead and post questions. Just know that there's a little bit of a delay, and we're live on YouTube as well because we're going to start keeping track of these things. But yeah, life has a way of disciplining you, right? If you're spending your time in the wrong places, what happens, right? As an employee, if you're spending your time in the wrong places, and you're not disciplined about getting your work done, what happens? You get fired, right? So somebody else will discipline you if you don't discipline yourself, right? If you're not disciplined, lots of stress, yeah, right? She's bouncing off the walls. So what do? Worked out more, eaten better, and slept better. Now I'm, the section you're learning. Good. So Stu's doing more. So he took advantage of this. He said, I got all this time. Now Stu's like me. He can't sit still. If Stu sits still, don't apologize, Stu. It's a great example, but that's the thing is you've disciplined yourself, Stu. You have a lot of discipline, right? Life changes things a little bit too. It might be a little different for you if you had 2-3 kids bouncing around the house, right? I mean, I know you got people with you, so but things change a little bit sometimes. But Stu, you got the right idea where you've disciplined yourself. You've set yourself a schedule and you've recaptured like 30 hours, 40 hours a week that you used to spend commuting and doing, all the extra work, but now the work's not really there, right? So you have the extra time. So you disciplined yourself to go ahead and take care of it. Yeah. Okay. So, but you still did the hard work because you could sit there and screw off the whole day and not get anything done, right? If you're not disciplined about it. But you work out, you make sure that you're eating correctly. You're not going in the fridge and eating all the kind of junk that you shouldn't be. You're making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're sleeping better, right? So, I mean, that's fantastic. These are the opportunities in life. This is a time. Look, we've never seen a pandemic like this before, right? What's up, Mark? Right? We've never been through this. I think the last pandemic that we have in our recent history is the flu, right? The Spanish flu epidemic in 1918, was it? 1912? Somewhere. No, it was 1912. It was before World War I, right? I think it was 1912. But yeah, that was a big deal. So this is going to shape our future. This is going to shape our kids. And this is going to shape the way they talk to their kids. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what comes out of it. But this is the opportunity to show our kids what it's like to discipline ourselves, right? And what good could come out of it. Because I know my kids don't really have any discipline at all. But now, this is an opportunity for me to be home and teach them how to do that, right? So for me, I was disciplined my whole life. Like I grew up, my dad was ex-military. He's a Marine. My mom was like real vigilant. She was just extremely disciplined, and they were always on me and taught me, how to clean. And I was doing all this stuff. And, Stu can relate to this because he was off on his own early. By the time I was 12 years old, there was nothing that my mom had done for me anymore. I was doing my laundry. I was doing everything myself. If I wanted something, I had to work and I had to get it for myself. Hey, Roseanne, right? So that's the way it worked is if I wanted something, I had to do something. Weird thought, but in years' time, COVID-19 is going to be an answer. Yeah, it is. It is, Stu. We were talking that this is an unprecedented time, that this video, all the videos we see of this short little time period is of people working out at home, all the trainers doing stuff at home, people working from home and, throwing paper airplanes and playing Sudoku in like some weird formats and all this crazy stuff. I see people on Facebook playing these like crazy games, Somebody put a key facing down and it was hooked on a nail. And it was a wheel behind it, like spin the wheel. So he would spin the key and it would always come back to the one spot. And the one spot that he put there was drink some wine. So it would never stop up here like Wheel of Fortune, right? It would always go back here because the key obviously is counterbalanced that way, right? So he would spin it and it would go, have some more wine, have some more wine. So he set it up that way. But yeah, so you're going to see all this stuff, and you're going to know right away when you see something like this. You're going to see all these people, just like when the World Wide Web started. You saw all these crazy websites and all this crazy stuff out there. You're going to know immediately that this video came from that era. Our kids, our grandkids, people are going to be able to look at it and say, oh, wait a minute, that's from the COVID-19. That's where all the coronials came from, right? But it's going to be very, very interesting. But this is the time when really there's a lot of opportunity for you. It's an opportunity for you to get to learn a little bit more about yourself. It's an opportunity to catch up on some reading and learn some new things. It's time to learn a new skill. It's time to just get rid of that stress. Everybody's tight. Everybody's stressed, you know? Stu may be the exception, all right? I don't know. I don't know how it's going with your team, Stu, but all of these things, people are worried about so many different things. And you know what? The idea is we're always going to survive this. No matter what happens in our lives, we always survive it. But what are we doing in the meantime? Are we squandering it, right? So discipline yourself to learn a new trade, to learn some new tasks, you know, to become a better parent, right? To become a better spouse. This is an opportunity for you to do that, all right? Somebody's knocking those emojis down. I like it. You know, this is your opportunity. You're never going to get this opportunity again. Let this reground you and let it change you again into something better. This is your opportunity. All right. So anytime something big happens in life, it's like, if this is a big struggle for you, if it's a big struggle for you, it may not be, but if it's a big struggle for you, this is the thing that's going to help catapult you to be something different. Right. I hear our clients talk about things all the time. And, you know, one of the most common things I hear, which really is humbling, is, you know, you always get that big hit when somebody says how much you've changed their life. You know, as a personal trainer, who the heck ever thinks that? As a guy that works out with them, who thinks you would be that? But you really are. You know, and I tell people, look, we're a lot different than what other people do. You know, we're not just here to work people out. You know, I listen to people when they come in. I listen to what they want. I listen to everything that's going on in their life. And I remember everybody I've ever sat down with. Now, when I was working in gyms, here's a funny story for you. When I was working in gyms, I did 6,148 sales presentations within 18 months. That's a lot of sales presentations, right? So I sat with a lot of people. And here's the kicker. The kicker is I remembered absolutely everyone's goal. I may have forgotten their names, but I remembered everything that they told me that they wanted, even if they didn't work out with us. Now, I only had a 40% closing rate. So that meant 6 out of 10 did not work out with us, yet I still remembered everything they told me about what they wanted, why they were important to me, right? So I'm in the business of changing lives, and it really reflects that. People could see that. People could feel that. You know, I treat people like they're my kids. Now, it's your opportunity to develop these kind of relationships with yourself, with the people around you. You know, if there's people that you don't have with you in the house with you, it's your opportunity now to reach out and develop and deepen the relationships in a different way. Because this distance stuff, right, doing the stuff over FaceTime and having a happy hour party at 7 o'clock on a Friday when you're not actually with somebody, it changes things a little bit. It forces you to have different kinds of conversations, right? Because you're not right there, and you pay more attention to what's going on because you don't have all this extra stimulus around you. You know why? Because your hearing and your sight is more disciplined and focused because it's not being pulled in many directions, right? So you get in the theme here, and really discipline isn't a bad thing. It's something that frees your mind up. If you can schedule, when you schedule out the way your day is going to be and that you create structure, our minds are very simple. They like structure. Now, I happen to be, you know, people are creative and they say they don't like structure. People do thrive on structure. They thrive on patterns. Even if people are erratic, they still thrive on habits. They still thrive on structure. Take kids. Some of the studies that I've seen for kids when they're younger. Now, again, these are kids. We all started as kids, and we just learned different coping mechanisms as we aged. But kids, Kids, when they're disciplined and they have structure, they have a set wake up time, they have a set bedtime, they have a set time to do homework, a set time to go to school. When they have a structure like that, they feel more comfortable, they feel more confident, they're more secure. And if the parent is instilling that and they're reinforcing it and they are enforcing it, right? Then the kids feel more loved than they do if the parent isn't involved and they just let the kid do what they want, because there's no boundaries to push. Kids will push the boundaries, right? And as adults, somewhere we kind of forget these lessons that we had. So we do thrive on structure. Even if you think you're a free will spirit, structure does cause you to calm down. Now, I'm not saying everybody wants to be, hemmed in and stuck to a tight schedule or calendar or, some type of really, really rigid structure, but some kind of structure in life is what helps us. So when you discipline yourself to create that schedule, that calendar, those habits, every day at 7:00, I'm going to read 30 minutes in a new book, right? Every morning at 8:00, I'm going to get up and I'm going to brush my teeth, whether I'm working or not, right? And I'm going to do A and then B and then C. And you check it off your list. There's fewer things to worry about, fewer things to occupy your brain, but also you're feeling accomplished as you go through your day, that you're hitting all the points that you're supposed to hit. You wind up being a lot more productive. Now, maybe you're not interested in being productive for work or for any other purpose other than maybe you have a goal of you want to read 5 books in the next 30 days. That's an ambitious goal, right? For some people. I read slowly, right? I love to read, but I read slowly. So 5 books in a month would be, a big goal for me, right? And that's the other thing, is you got to set goals for yourself. It doesn't matter what the goal is. Stu has a goal to do 10 pull-ups before we all go back to the studio, right? So I gave him a program on how to do it, and he's going to do it. And he had a goal to lose weight and do better and all this stuff. And he's attacking. He's just doing it, Now that's Stu's personality. For somebody that doesn't have that personality, it takes a little more to do it, but he's developed that over his life, right? I'm sure Stu didn't just pop out of his mom's womb and say, wow, I am going to just accomplish everything. You don't just accomplish everything, right? Rob, I mean, all you guys are accomplished. Rob, Mark, Roseanne, Stu, you're all very accomplished, right? And that doesn't happen by being haphazard, right? Like, I know Roseanne's really structured and organized. She has to be for work, and she gets a ton done. I mean, God, if you knew Roseanne's social life and the amount of the capacity of work that she could do, getting ready for a show, running the show and acting in the show, and doing all this, it's exhausting. She had so much physical work in this show, and I don't know what I stepped on, but I had a funny noise there. We'll find out later. But she did all of this work. Plus, she works. She's a boss, man. She's a boss. She's a senior VP at a very major company. But yet she does all these things. So she has discipline, but she wants more out of life. There's a lot that she wants to accomplish. She's disciplined herself to learn music every Sunday night. Here's the wife with her hood up, looking like, she's, I don't know, up to no good. She looks like a friggin' dwarf. She does. She'll come over and say hi, I'm sure. There she is. You think she's ready to do a Facebook Live with me? Right? This is like our fireside chat. Some days these things are going to be real focused, and other times they're going to be more of a conversation. And I think one time it would be really nice. So this weekend, I keep telling Melissa, you got to call Carmen, by the way. Her and Carmen have to set up our happy hour. Carmen's waiting for you to give her a shout. Those are the fun bus, and Roseanne too, but Roseanne's a little busy this week with a couple of things. So I'm going to have Melissa and Carmen do it, and let's all reap the benefit. Let's do a virtual happy hour, right? It'll be fun. So these are the things, like, discipline yourself to make the call and set up a happy hour. How hard is that, right? That's not too hard. But this is the time when really you need to set those goals so you don't go out of your freaking mind. Sometimes, like, I'm very, very, very goal-oriented and outcome-driven, right? I like to see outcome. I'm not always in it for the fun of it. The fun for me is accomplishing the goal. If we succeed, I'm excited, I'm happy. The fun is the pursuit of the goal, but it is about the goal no matter what it is. If I went for a walk yesterday, my goal was to get around the neighborhood, and I just walked fast. I wasn't sitting there thinking, let me take somebody with me and have a conversation with me, because that would have only slowed me down. I wanted to get the walk done, right? My goal was to get outside, get fresh air and sunlight, and walk the neighborhood and get done. And I got through the neighborhood faster than I've ever got through before, right? But that's me. I'm very outcome focused, right? So you got to know what you're like, and then you got to discipline yourself. I happen to be somebody that's very, very, very creative. I have an analytical end to me, but I'm very creative. And if you're like me, it's tough to discipline yourself with organization as far as scheduling goes. It is tough, right? When I was a bodybuilder, it was very easy to be structured and disciplined with my food. But with a calendar, that's always been something that's been difficult for me, because I'm not that organized type of person. I'm the one that comes up with the ideas and then has somebody else execute it, right? And that doesn't always work in life. So right now, part of what I'm doing is I have to discipline my calendar, because if I don't discipline myself, the world will discipline me, right? And that's just the way it is. So guys, I hope this has been a productive talk. I hear some good things about, people that watch these later that may not be live with us. I hope in some way we help you every night, and we touch you every night, and we're helping you improve your nights, and helping you grow a little bit more than just the workouts. Because, you got to come out of this thing knowing that you are really, truly unstoppable. You are unbreakable. You will not just survive this. You will thrive if you choose. And I know you guys. I know everybody that's with me. And every single one of you has the guts and the gumption that you're not survivors. You guys thrive, right? And that's what I want to see you guys do as you come out of this. So right now, just know and understand that you are unbreakable, that you are unstoppable. This is not going to be anything more than a blip to you. It's going to be a little road bump, a little pebble in the street over the course of your life. This is nothing, and this will end. This will pass. I don't know how long it's going to be, weeks, months, whatever it is, but this will pass, right? None of us really know. And that's the point. And there's a paradox. I forget the name of the paradox. And I'm going to leave you with this, okay? My good friend calls it, I forget what the heck he called it. Productive paranoia, okay? And I don't know why he calls it that at that end. That'll come to me. But there was a famous officer in the Vietnam War that got caught as a POW, and he was one of the few survivors. And they interviewed him after, and they asked him. They said, "What was the key to your survival?" And everybody thinks it's optimism, and he said the optimistic people were the ones who died. And they were like, "Wow, what are you talking about?" Like, I never would have. I never would have guessed that. I don't know if you guys would. It sounds contrary to everything we've ever thought of, right? But what he said was this: the guys that were the optimists kept saying that we're going to be out by Christmas. We're going to be home for Christmas. And then Christmas came, and they weren't home. And they said, "Okay, by Christmas." And then Christmas came again, and they weren't home. And then Christmas came again, and then Christmas came again. And each time they broke. Each time they got a little more broken. Each time they died a little bit, until finally they realized it wasn't happening for Christmas. And the next Christmas was too far away. See, he wasn't focused on a time period. He didn't sit there and think by this day and this time, right? So the same thing here. Forget about when this is going to end. If you got a really stressful situation, stop worrying about when it's going to end and stop putting a date to it. Just go out and do what you got to do, and just do it every day, like every day matters, and just be okay with that day and get everything you can done so you could sleep good at night. That's what counts. And also understand that this will end. This will end. Okay? Guys, you're the best. I love you. I care about you. I appreciate you taking your time out and being with me. We're going to come through this much, 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 much stronger than we went into it. And I wish you guys a lot of health. And we will talk to you soon.